In a post a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned preferring Apple Music over Spotify, and from my DMs, it seems that I've managed to make quite a few people make the switch. I never quite meant to say that Apple Music is the only viable alternative, and there is a few important things to know. The way that I became an Apple Music user is purely because I had an iPod or two back in the day, and so iTunes became my default used program for music. And by the time Apple Music was introduced to iTunes as a streaming service, I already had a library that dated back 9 years. I feel like today a lot of people aren't trained to think about files when listening to music. Like, for example, a lot of people are commenting SoundCloud is better, and I just don't see how you could see SoundCloud as an alternative to Apple Music. Like, SoundCloud has a ton of music that isn't available anywhere else, and I have been surprised by the amount of bands that upload there, but you don't control anything and you certainly can't have your own library of music. Also, try listening to something like the Beatles on SoundCloud. You can't. It might be stupid as hell, but what I go for with my music is absolute consolidation. Everything is in one place, and I don't have to use any other service than Apple Music to listen to what I want to listen to, and I go to some dumbass extremes to fulfill this. For example, earlier this year, Ben UFO uploaded a DJ mix to SoundCloud that was 6 hours long. The limit for a track on Apple Music is 200 megabytes, so what I did was go into SoundCloud to MP3 to download the mix. Then I had to go into Audacity to split the mix into 6 1-hour segments, and then I took those files and uploaded them to Apple Music. Then after that, it's on my devices and I can download the files so I never have to rely on cellular or Wi-Fi to listen to music. Like, it's actually on my iPhone 16 Pro 1TB natural titanium, and if I go for a run, it's on my Apple Watch Ultra 32GB titanium. And I can mix this stuff into any playlist and it's ready to go. This library is accessible from Apple Watch, iPhone, Mac, Windows, even LagDroid, and you can sign into a browser and see it there too. And as you add things to Apple Music, you have a timeline so you can go back in time and see exactly what you're discovering at a certain point. And for me, it's basically my entire life. It's neat. I can't expect everyone to live this way, but this is why I find Apple Music so useful. That being said, there are a few things that are seriously wrong with Apple Music. For starters, the Windows app is absolutely diabolical. It's just not fun or easy to use in comparison to the Mac app. I feel like it might be because my library is so large. Like, one absolutely glaring issue is it doesn't let me scroll with my mouse. I think it might be particular to the mouse that I use. This has absolutely driven me up the wall for like 2 to 3 years at this point, and I have tried everything to scroll in the Windows app, and I cannot do it to this day. Also, with my uploaded music, there's a glitch that randomly affects only some of the stuff that I upload. It makes it so you can only scrub through the first 5 seconds of a track. This affects my entire Ghost Mountain album, and this glitch only comes up once in a while, but if it affects something like a 2-hour long DJ mix, it's horrible. If you pause the track, it goes back to the start. Also, Apple Music doesn't support FLAC. I'm using lossy formats like MP3s in 2025. Damn. On top of this, all the fun that I'm having is going to come to a head one day because there's a limit of 100,000 uploaded songs to Apple Music outside of the streaming service, and I'm at 52,000, so one day I'm going to be cucked.